that journalism is not for glamour. Once you have the certified documents in your hand, the power of a journalist doubles. But awards is something which comes, you're very happy, but then you know that you have to work even harder.
Public journalism serves as the heartbeat of a democratic society, where the press serves as the people's eyes, ears, and voice, empowering citizens with information and fostering a vibrant and informed public discourse. Welcome to the Social Learning Podcast, where curiosity meets connection. I am your host Param Lakhani, and together we'll explore a diverse world of topics and insights to grow, learn, and thrive. Today, we have the honor of interviewing the distinguished journalist, author, and activist, Ms. Vinita Deshmukh. With a career spanning over 3 decades, she has been a trailblazer in the world of public journalism. Welcome, Ms. Deshmukh, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So let's begin with your work in public journalism. You have been deeply involved in investigative reporting and have championed the use of Right to Information, that is the RTI Act. What inspired you to delve into the public journalism and RTI especially as a very powerful tool?
Yeah, so thank you for the question. The point is that journalism is not for glamour. Journalism is for being the eyes and ears of the society and amplifying the voice of the masses on issues that directly or indirectly concern them. So when I started my journalism in the late 1980s, Pune was just growing into a big city. And all the civic issues, the amenities, the garbage, the water supply was voiced by hundreds of readers across the city. So that's why I got an opportunity to immediately delve into public journalism. And public journalism all over the world is the most superior kind of journalism because you are amplifying people's voices and talking truth to power. When the authorities read your articles, they tend to respond and act. And that is important for a journalist, that he has served the society by amplifying the voices and by keeping the authorities on alert. So to that point till early 2005, pen was the only sword of a journalist. But from October 12, 2005, Right to Information Act became the second biggest weapon for investigative journalism. And ever since I say that don't only use your pen, before that use the power of the RTI Act, and especially Section 4, where in case you are doing a story, you can walk into any government office during the working hours and do inspection of files. Rather, the documents on the story that you are writing, it could be tree felling, bad roads, a national scandal, whatever. Once you have the certified documents in your hand, the power of a journalist doubles. Because our editor is to say that when you are, attacking a person, three with one finger, that is one particular story, there are 3 fingers looking back at you. So do you have enough ammunition when next day you have to do the follow-ups? So RTI basically gives you that kind of storage, because you get the documents and then nobody can question you, because you have not written anything that is not there in the government records. Hence, public journalism and investigative journalism through the Right to Information Act has become a big boon for journalists, and you must be seeing all kind of statistics for all kind of issues, city-wise, state-wise, nationally, they just come up to the audience.
That's right. So we know that RTI is a very powerful tool, especially when you want to get your facts correct.
Absolutely.
And ma'am, your dedication to public journalism has not at all gone unnoticed, and you have received numerous prestigious awards for your outstanding work. Can you tell us about some of the most significant awards that you have won and the stories behind them?
I really hate to talk about my awards and myself, but in any case, I will put it issue-wise. So the biggest award that I received was the Chameli Devi Award which is the biggest any woman journalist can get in India. So in 2010, I was working on a Dow Chemical story, wherein Dow Chemicals was a sister concern of Union Carbide. And they had come, the government, Maharashtra government had given 100 acres of land at a throwaway rate. And they were proclaiming in all newspapers with big page one ads that they are going to be a research center. So it was near Chakan, and some villagers came to me and said I should be writing about this. But then I said that, I just cannot write one paragraph saying that the Bhopal tragedy guys have come here. That's not journalism. So I decided to do inspection of files in the Maharashtra Pollution Control Board, which gave the permissions, the MIDC, which gave the land, the Environment Secretary, which gave the go-ahead. And what they were advertising was that we are a research center, we are not going to use a single chemical, we are going to give jobs to 650 scientists and engineers of the city, and we are going to enhance this environment. But when I went through the records, after I got the documents, I found on first page that it was going to be a manufacturing plant. They are going to use some 50-60 odd chemicals, out of which 22 are hazardous under the EPA Act. So taking these documents, in fact I came to MIT Professor L.K. Shirsagar and asked him to analyze all that they want to do in their center. I also sent a copy to the environmental technologist, Mr. Sandeep Joshi, unfortunately he is no more, who dissected from the documents what is going to happen. And then it seemed that it could be a manufacturing plant of the kind of Bhopal. And so I got the villagers together and told them, do not just talk about Union Carbide, this is what is going to do to you. And as you know, that village near Chakan is very near Arandi and Dehu Road, which is very, very spiritually close to the Maharashtrians. So because of this, I wrote for 10 months in the Intelligent Pune Weekly, that I was the editor. So for 10 months continuously I wrote, and educating villagers all the time. They came out on the streets, and finally Warkaris came out on the streets, and Mr. Vilasrao Deshmukh was the then Chief Minister, had to order stopping the construction of the Dow Chemicals plant, and within a year they gave back the 100 acres and just walked away from the Pune. Because earlier 21 countries had declined to keep them because they are very polluting. So for that I had got the Chameli Devi Jain. Then I'll quickly tell you some Statesman Rural Reporting Award, which is very prestigious. I got for 2 stories. One, Peacock's Village near Pune. I mean, I don't want to elaborate, will waste your time, but you can look up. And one on the reverse migration to 5 of Maharashtra villages. And the most recent was by Maneka Gandhi, the then Women and Child Care Minister, along with Twitter. They had different sections wherein in the media, the journalist who not only write but amplifies it through social media. So for that, in the media section, I got an award for the Web Wonder Woman. And there are another couple of awards. So. But awards is something which comes, you're very happy, but then you know that you have to work even harder.
So awards career is actually a very huge library, I would say.
And liability, library and liability.
Oh. But your work in journalism extends beyond traditional media too, and you're also an accomplished author. So could you tell us about some of your books and what motivated you to write them?
So when I was the editor of Intelligent Pune Weekly, at that time the Mumbai terror 26/11 happened. And actually, I took an appointment with Vinita Kamte to do a cover story for my weekly. But when I had a coffee with her in a restaurant, I realized that the magnanimity of all that she was talking. So I told her, Vinita, I think this is not just a story, and I would like to write a book for you. So that's how it started, and she gave me immense freedom to write the book, from constructing it to the everything. And main thing is that this time she was the investigative journalist, because she had a twin sister. They got the call log records and manuscripts under the Right to Information Act from the Mumbai Police Control Room, which records every conversation from the control room to ground zero. All the officers and constables were on ground zero. And based on that analysis by both of them, they came to the conclusion that these three officers needlessly died. In fact, they could have been saved if the Mumbai control room was alert, which it did not. And she was very happy that I'm writing the book, because she was always being told, including by leading columnists and Home Ministry and the Chief Minister, the senior police officials, that they were foolish that they went together during that situation. So that really inspired me to write the book. The second book which I wrote was, I had taken on President Pratibha Patil when she was the President of India. So a colonel put a RTI in the Home Ministry asking that after retirement, how much square feet house does the government give for the retired president to live in? So the reply came that 4,750 square feet of any existing bungalow anywhere in the country. But Madam Patil had actually usurped 2,60,000 square feet of A1 military land in Khadki, Pune. And she has started construction with builders flying them around in different countries for architecture, etc. And no newspaper wanted to write about it because she was the President of India. So when the colonel called me, he went to 4 cities and did press conferences, but nobody wrote. When he called me, I said, of course, just come down. And then I wrote the first story, because I have a right to information column every Wednesday in Money Life. And the next day in the inbox was flooded with mails from people all over the world, like from Australia, USA, UAE, you just name it, I can't remember the countries, saying that, ma'am, you're doing good work and do you need a help? So I didn't even expect that, I was shocked. So I used RTI from the Defense Estate Office, Southern Command, President's Secretariat and all these things, and continuously for 14 days wrote different aspects of the story which appeared in Money Life. And after about 1 month, we got a message from press release from the President's Secretariat that she has returned the land. And now that land has become an army club. And the army club has become the most, happening wedding venue. So the other day I went for the venue and I just tweeted that, Madam Pratibha Patil, sorry, what was to be your private lawns is our public pleasure. So that and the Dow Chemicals together, I put it together and wrote a book called The Mighty Fall. So the Marathi version got the Acharya Atri Award, and now Bollywood film director is going to make a feature film on the Dow Chemicals, on the Dow Chemicals part of the story. I've just signed the contract 6 months back. I don't know when it's going to really happen, but that's what's the thing. And the other books were like, I lost my husband tragically while we were climbing up the Parvati, and he died of cardiac arrest there. And he was my best friend who always supported me on all the, very dangerous stories that I wrote. So it was a very setback for me. So I wrote one book dedicated to him called Grieving to Healing. And the other poetry book I written on Lady Corona. And then lately I have written a coffee table book on Koregaon Park. So just the 4 lanes of Koregaon Park, where the aristocratic royal families used to stay. There's a bungalow kind of a neighborhood, and it has a special heritage value in Pune Municipal Corporation. So that book also has been was just recently released by the Maharani of Baroda, and it is like doing well. Yeah, and a couple of other books.
That's really great, ma'am. But your dedication to journalism and activism is very evident, and you have also embraced social media, which is something unique. And so how do you use social media to pursue public and social causes?
Yeah, so the first biggest success was my Pratibha Patil story. And second was, about 1 year back, we had this in Salisbury. I stay in Salisbury Park. And there was a land which was meant for the public garden. But a private builder it had been given to a private builder by the PMC by changing the land zone. So imagine from 1990 when I was in the Indian Express, till 2010, I think, we have been fighting till the Supreme Court. The citizens have come out in protest, they've gone to the Supreme Court and we have won the case, and the Supreme Court said that the PMC has to return this land back for a public garden. So after that 40 years, the garden began and it was inaugurated by the corporator. And at that time we had told the corporator, you cannot put any personal name on this garden because it is a hard work of 4 decades. So it was known as Pune Mahaparalika Garden. And within 3 months, he had the audacity to one night rip it out and write his father's name. Some Bimale Garden. So from then, I only fought through Facebook and Twitter. And we had a hectic campaign for 6 months. And I have met the political leaders of all political parties. But nothing happened. So we've gone to the High Court. And the ridiculous part is the High Court 15 days back has said that we have to form a bench to settle this issue. So that's how, I use my social media. Now my latest is the Nota campaign. That 30 years, every BJP, NCP, Manase, you name it, Congress or Shiv Sena, they have given us horrible, miserable roads in Pune, garbage, nothing has changed. So why give anybody when we have the Nota option? So I use my social media like this to just, I'm not a force that you use Nota, no. But you think, is there a good candidate in your ward? If it is, definitely vote. If not, vote for Nota. Don't be compelled to vote for the same corrupt people. So that's how I use my campaign. It really works because it expands in minutes. Social media is the best thing that any journalist or activist could have.
That's really true.
Yeah.
Social media has become the new way to speak volumes about different topics,
absolutely.
not only about activism but about anything.
Yes.
It has a potential to reach a wider audience.
And you can do it single-handedly.
Exactly. It's much more easier to handle.
Yeah.
So your career has been incredibly impactful and you have contributed to the field of journalism through various roles and responsibilities. But looking back, what do you consider the most significant achievement of your journalistic journey?
No, I think the most, for a multinational company like Dow to retreat and go back, and for a powerful constitutional authority like President of India to bend to her knees because of, not me, but because of the power of the RTI Act, I think they have been milestones, not only for me, but for every citizen who wants to have social justice and to use right to information. And I again say that it's not necessary to break these national scandals in RTI. You should use RTI once a year, every citizen, for your own needs. It could be pension, it could be anything,
It is rightly said, public journalism is the heartbeat of a democratic society, where the press serves as the eyes, ears, and voice, empowering citizens with information and fostering a vibrant and informed public discourse. Thank you, Ms. Deshmukh, for sharing your insights and experiences with us today. Your definition to public journalism and the causes you stand for the public are truly a model to behold. This was Param Lakhani with Ms. Vinita Deshmukh for the Social Learning Podcast, where curiosity meets connection.